Alrighty guys, Dan Whiteford wanted to see, or had some questions about side dressing, and a few other guys did too. So I thought I'd do another video explaining side dressing like we've, like I did at the soil finisher. People seem to like that one, so. Side dressing, obviously we're running right in the middle of the 30-inch corn row here. You'll notice we leave a strip out, and that is because if this guy, we're doing the custom side dressing, has GPS, but if you didn't happen to, or you're running along a fence row or something and you got too close to the planter, then all of a sudden you're trying to run that unit over here, and you can either tear out another corn row, if they get too close together, or if things aren't you get it into the fence row. So usually the most common around here side dress bars are either an 11 row if you got a 12 row or 24 row planter, or if you got a 16 row or 32 row planter, then you usually run a 15 knife bar, which is be for a 16 row planter. So 11 row and 15 row side dress bars are the most popular. We built this bar. It is a Glencoe row crop cultivator bar with Henniker row crop cultivator unit. Same thing as on the strip till bar. That way they follow the ground contour. It pulls real even that way. Not like regular side dress bars where if you go through a wash or something, one side really digs in. Makes it kind of nice. Got the Yetter disc sealers on it. That knife runs about 5 inches deep, probably, going through the soil there. John Deere makes a Anhydrous Applicator unit, which is just like a big no-till drill, colder and whatnot, and you can run about 10 miles an hour with it going through the corn. It doesn't disturb much dirt, and then they just got a disc sealer on the back to shut the trench back after the colder runs through and the knife runs through it. What it is just a colder that's on a bit of an angle, and then a knife that sits here, so it's just going like that. They work pretty good, I guess, but I think there's something to be said for this tillage pass here, I know there is, especially on the end rows, busting up the compaction there and whatnot. And that gives a nice mellow strip for the corn roots to grow into and get the nitrogen. It's easy growing. They get into that nice loose strip of soil. And we like side dressing. We've done some yield checks from it, and it seems knifing it in like this seems to be the most return on investment there. Not only from not only because Anhydrous is the cheapest, but also from the way we're putting it in with the knife. But anyway, run the colder there, and then the knife runs, and then the disc sealers shut it. You're going to have that on any side dress bar. You got to have a colder, knife. Some guys don't run disc sealers. You got really sandy soil, the trench falls back shut, but I don't know about that. You definitely ain't going to be able to do it around here. Our soils are too sticky for that to even work. The next thing, Anhydrous comes out of the Anhydrous tank there, runs up to up through the cooler here. They use the Anhydrous to cool the Anhydrous in this cooler here, and you can see there's frost on it. You got to keep it cold because it is a gas. I don't know what temperature you got to keep it at, but you want it at a liquid so you can actually meter the stuff. This is the metering valve here, and then I can't remember which is which. I think that's the servo valve for rate control, and that one's the on-off valve. These are by far the most popular system around here. These Raven Anhydrous coolers, who makes these. There's two companies that make them. Henniker makes them and Raven makes them, but the Raven seem to be more popular around here for whatever reason. And then runs through here. It comes up through this hose here, and then it just bleeds off just a little anhydrous in there to keep it cold, and then we run the vapor lines, which are that line and this line, and just run them out to the shanks. Got 2 shanks that got it, and it's not a significant amount to where you're putting on more in those 2 rows, but just run that back into the trench. And there's that hose you can see just runs, this one's set up for 2 lines or a 8.5, like we're putting on down at the end, because we put a 8.5 on out at the end. That one, but it's just got a hole down in the bottom, blows it down into the trench. See, I put a 8.5 out on the end, 2 end knives. I forgot to tell you that. That's why we got 2 hoses running to them. Anhydrous runs up right here through the hose, and then it runs up here to this manifold up right here. Splits it off in this manifold. This is set up for 12 ports on this manifold. Actually, this one could be set up for 16 if you took these other pipe plugs out, but we got it set up for 12. The number 12 one's got a Y in somewhere in here. Half goes out to that side, half goes out to this side, the shank out on the end. So yeah, so that's kind of how they meter the anhydrous. I don't know a ton about how it all works and whatnot. Pretty low maintenance, so you pretty much just run them. About the only thing you'll ever have trouble with is in that screen right there. You'll have rust get stuck in there every now and then from the tanks, but that's once every couple years. That doesn't happen much. So that's how it's put on. I'm going to show you the monitor here for it. This is the got an acre counter on it. The rate, when I get going, the rate pops up right here. I got 2 rates, automatic rate adjust or the manual rate adjust. I'm running it on the automatic. It's the Raven monitor. We got 2 of these monitors. This one has is just a 3 boom, but when you're on anhydrous, you only got 1 shut off anyways, because you don't have a splitter where you can shut half the bar off. Not like a sprayer, because you can also spray with this monitor. We also have another one that has 6 boom shut offs. I got field area right here, 21.6 acres so far. Field volume, which that doesn't really apply to anhydrous. Total area 21.6, because I just started this is the first field for custom side dress. Got speed and whatnot, all sorts of stuff. Let's see, what else do I need to cover? Not a whole lot, to it. It's once you get it set up, it's really maintenance free. You just change tanks. Putting on 150 pounds to the acre right now, and that'll get us about 20 acres on a 1,000-gallon tank. And it just varies on rate and size of the tank. They have 1,000. They have 1,100-gallon tanks or 1,140-gallon, and they have 1,500-gallon tanks. Later in the day, I'm going to be pulling a 1,500-gallon tank, so I'll be able to run farther. A couple other ways they meter the anhydrous. They make ground drive pumps, which is just basically a contact tire, and it's got a piston pump. Pretty simple. I've heard they work real good. We just got one for our other side dress bar this year. Haven't used it yet, or we didn't need to use that bar this year, so that's what. I haven't tried it yet, but apparently they're really accurate. You got to go back and manually set them. I can change the rate of this one on the go. You got the contact wheel, and it's just a plunger, and then it's got a cooler similar to that one and a manifold, and that's how they pump the anhydrous. The other way you can meter anhydrous is you just set the rate and then the manifold, and then they make an on-off shut-off valve, You know, it's just a hydraulic lever, or, you know, it's got a little hydraulic cylinder, and it's basically just a gate valve that you hit the hydraulic lever and it just shuts it real quick. Those were real popular years ago, before they had all the electronic stuff. They work too, really simple, just it's basically like shutting the valve off on the tank on and off real quick. Except you had it up here closer to the manifold, so you didn't have to empty the whole line. And that's basically what happened there. It was pretty easy, not a whole lot to it. But yeah, it's that's about it. I'd mount my little action camera on the thing, kind of show you what it looks like going through the dirt, but I couldn't really get it to stay on. I tried there a week or two ago and couldn't really get it to stay on the unit. It just bounce off. So just kind of imagine what's happening there. But I think the reason to side dress anhydrous is because then it's here when the plant needs it. You put it on in the fall, you know, it could be lost, and sometimes it's, you know, lost over winter. It just leaches out of the soil. And spring applied can be kind of hairy getting it on here. You just might not get the window to do it, so that's why we side dress it. And a lot of guys are going to that, but hopefully Dan Whiteford and everybody else who is wanting a video of how this all works, hopefully that'll answer your questions there on how side dressing works and why we do it. Well, I think they'll do it here, so thanks for watching.